Welcome back. President Abdulaziz Bouteflika of Algeria has fired his central bank chief. The central bank governor, Mohamed Lakshachi, has been under pressure from ruling party critics over his management of fallout from the global oil price drop. Mr. Lakshachi had been the Algerian central bank governor for more than a decade. Africa-wide mega-scale initiative backed by all African heads of state should see the continent greatly increase its renewable energy over the next 15 years. Well, the African Renewable Energy Initiative plans to develop at least 10 gigawatts of new renewable energy generation capacity by 2020 and at least 300 gigawatts by 2030, potentially making the continent the cleanest in the world. In West Africa, renewable energy technologies account for an estimated 28.8% of the region's total installed capacity of grid-connected electricity. At the just concluded African Development Bank meeting in Lusaka, Zambia, Channel's TV Business News editor Bosun Omofayu spoke to the President and Director General, Africa Biofuel and Renewable Energy, Theno Bokato, on what they are doing in the ECOWAS region in providing renewable energy.
What are the main challenges of your project initiatives? Is it about funding? Is it about access to people? Or is it the ability of the ordinary people, the common people, to be able to afford this new form of energy initiative?
Yeah, we take into account all these aspects. It is, it is what I say, to know the problem of the electricity now in Africa. Just to go to Google. I think you will find how many people you have, even if it's not updated. I tell you, it's not, I'm sure, no more 600 people, they are saying no access to electricity. It's no more right figure. It is less than that. Because people are working hardly now in the rural area. Take it into account what you say, affordable, sustainable, and to put into account all the needs of the population in the rural area. Just not to come to tell them, I give you 100 kilo, but to tell them if you have energy, what you can do with that, and how energy can be one of the main way to make your life better. It's not just to say access to electricity. Access to electricity is a social right, but we have an economic right to access to energy, where I can have everything I want to do. If I want to do irrigation, I do it. If I have to have a television, I will do it. Not only the bulk where I have electricity. If I have to make internet, I do it. It is our approach, and now this approach now is coming up, and it is taken now by a lot of head of state and putting in the strategic planning. So by in five coming years, now we can say around 70 million people have not access in my area I'm doing. But in 5 coming years, I'm sure we will come to around 10 million people.
Are you thinking of expanding your coverage to East or Central Africa, for instance?
Yes, because, ABREC cover all the continent. But, we have to start where we know. And people will know exactly. The psychology in Africa is what? Just they tell you, have you done that somewhere? And it is what I am building. All the time, people ask me where I did it. I bring them, they show, and they see, and they talk to people. And they see how the way of life, how the level, how they promote now the quality of life now in the rural area. And they can see it. If you see it, you can say, okay, let's go. Now I will have a project in RDC, have a project maybe in Kenya, have a project but we start somewhere. We need that just to talk. It is time for action. It is not time for talk. I think Africa has already suffered a little bit. Let us move ahead, my brother.
One of the things here at the African Development Bank is that there's still a lot of talk about energy. So I'm going to ask you this question. You spend a number of days here in Zambia at the annual meetings. Are there any new things you're learning? Are there new talks you're listening to that will enhance what you're doing currently across West African, French-speaking countries?
I think it is always good to talk. It is always good to meet people. But we know what we want to do. Africa, we know that. And I think nobody knows better than us what we need. Nobody. And it is, that's why I say, let us say now, instead saying, we have to do this, we have to do that, or Africa has 600 million. Let us say, what are the best practices? What is a track record? What we have done in Africa. I think it is now time to show that Africa is moving. And let us see what we have already done. And what is good
that we can do by ourselves, for ourselves.
And for ourselves. I want to tell you something. I don't say the fund, which is financed by ADB, EIB, CDC, etc. But all my action in ABREC are financed by the internal financing from local bank.
Amazing, amazing.
I tell you, for the time being, I don't want, and last year I did $200 million financed by our local bank. And I am continuing this. Our local bank has to be involved. We have money, my brother. We have the brain. We are intelligent, my brother. Let us go, let us move, let us do something.
I think what we'll do is that we will continue to focus and follow what you're doing. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate what you're doing across Africa and across the West African sub-region. That was a nice story we want the world to know.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you once again. We appreciate it.
Well, still on energy matters, South African energy company Sasol says Mozambique's debt crisis will not affect its investments there. Sasol says it has new gas production due in 2019 and expects Mozambique will be able to pay part of the cost through revenue.
Mozambique missed the loan repayment deadline this month, plunging one of the world's poorest countries into a debt crisis. Slowing growth and delays to the start of offshore gas production have added to Mozambique's cash flow problems, with ratings agency Fitch downgrading the war-scarred Southern African nation's credit rating last week, warning that a default was likely. Regardless of the country's cash crunch, Sasol says it will continue with oil and gas developments worth $1.4 billion because the Mozambican government's financial obligation will come from the proceeds of gas sales.
Despite the issues that they have in the country, this is a core part of our strategy. We are here for the long haul, so we'll help them just as we did when we first got involved. Over a decade ago, the situation, the conditions were similar, and we managed to get something that worked, and we are confident we will do the same going forward.
Sasol owns 70% of the project. The Mozambican government holds 25% through its national company CMH, and the International Finance Corporation owns 5%. Mozambique is sitting on huge gas reserves, and developing liquefied natural gas export projects is expected to bring tens of billions of dollars to the impoverished state.
We converted our facility in Sasolburg from coal to gas. We supplement the feedstock to our plant in Secunda, which is a coal-fed, and we supply over 300 customers with this gas, which is a clean, environmentally friendly fuel, an efficient fuel. So that's what the initial plant has done.
Sasol's project, which lies about 600 kilometers north of capital Maputo, will be rolled out in stages. The first phase will include an oil, liquefied petroleum gas and gas project adjacent to its Pande and Temani fields. Sasol drilled the first 12 planned wells in its new oil and gas field in Mozambique last week, with first production expected in mid-2019. Most of the gas will go to a 400-megawatt power plant in Maputo, with the rest destined for third-party customers.
What is the yields trading at now at the debt market? Find out after the break.